Aloha, this will be part two. Also, I just wanted to tell you that um, I'm interviewing, doing this interview from my house, and we've been quarantined for several days. So we've been kind of here for a little while because we had an outbreak of COVID at our church. In fact, my wife had it, I had it, and so we were sick when we had it, but we still have to be here. We weren't that sick, but anyway, so hopefully everyone's safe over there. Also, I'm at my house, and so behind, just to kind of show you around a little bit, this is the Ko'olau mountain range behind us, and we have a nice view of that from our yard. Anyway, so just want to say that. Also, I watched the other video, part one. I noticed that my glasses are look a little dark. These are like, I guess in the sun it changes, it gets darker. So I don't have sunglasses on, but it may look like that. So I apologize about that. We've also been kind of just hanging out at the house for a few days, so I may be look like I've been under quarantine. I don't know. Anyway, so so the last few questions that I have, the funniest missionary story or event. So I want to tell one of the stories is when we were on deputation. It just was. It's not a major story, but it was kind of funny. We were at a church, and we were at the pastor's house, a pastor and his wife, and they made lunch for us. And they had already left, and they told us, okay, when you guys leave, um, they had a, they said they had a cooler for us with drinks and some lunch in there to take it, and or there's a bag with sandwiches, and then there's a cooler for drinks. So when we were leaving, we didn't see the cooler they're talking about. I think they put it in a different place from what they thought. All we found was a cooler, like a cooler that you put out, like if you're at a fellowship, and then you press the button, and you put a cup underneath. So it's like a juice cooler, one of those. It's kind of big. So we saw that, and we're thinking, why did they want us to take that? And so we were confused, but we didn't want to offend them. And I think it was used before. It might have had some juice in it. I forget what the situation is, but we didn't want to take it, but we didn't know what to do. And so we took the sandwiches and we took the juice cooler. We just thought, well, I don't, when we get to the next place, like we're thinking, why did they want us to take this? But we took it. But that's not what we were supposed to take. They had these little coolers that they had set somewhere. There was a communication breakdown, I guess. But we took that cooler. We went to the next church that we were at, and we left it there. And we told the pastor then that what had happened. We couldn't. We were in a car. We're traveling deputation in a car, so we couldn't have that big juice cooler in our car. So we left it at that next church, and then several months had passed, maybe even like 6 months. So this particular church, we were in the area, so we came back to the church, and on this particular day, the pastor makes an announcement, and he says, we're having a fellowship, and has anyone seen the church juice cooler? Because we're gonna have a fellowship. We don't know where it's at. We haven't seen it in a while. I don't know if someone borrowed it. We don't know where it's at, and we're thinking, hey, that's the one we got. And it just so happened we were there when he made an announcement. And so after the service, we told the pastor what had happened, and the communication breakdown. The funny thing was, they had a family that was on vacation in the area where the juice cooler was, in that area. So they were able to go swing by, pick it up, and bring it back. So it just was funny. In fact, that pastor still, if I talked to him, would bring that up, the time that we stole the juice cooler. But I thought it was funny. I don't know. Maybe you think it's kind of dumb. But another thing that was funny, I guess it's funny when I look back now, but when we first started pastoring at church, we're dealing with young families, and there's some of the local families are really rough in their upbringing. So there's a family that was having a domestic dispute. It was very intense and physical. So the landlord called me up because he knew that they're trying, they're coming to our church and they're trying to get their life in order. So he called me up, and they say, Pastor Kevin, come over here. This family is having an issue. They're yelling, screaming, fighting. A lot of, there's a major confrontation going on. So I went over there. When I got there, the husband and the wife was there, and the husband was on top of the wife, and he was slapping her, hitting her. She is screaming. His his sister was there, and the sister's boyfriend was there. And it wasn't intervening or anything, but all of this was going on. And I came into the house and I saw it, and I got upset. And honestly, in my flesh, I wanted to go over there and I wanted to jump on the guy. But I know we as pastors, we are not to be brawlers. So I stopped myself and I was thinking what to do. I told everybody, leave the house, or leave the room. And I'm pacing back and forth thinking of what to do. And I remember a story, someone telling me about Lester Roloff dealing with one of the ladies in the homes, and because of something that had happened, a confrontation, he ended up spanking him, I thought. So I told the husband, I says, you're gonna get a spanking for what you did. And he goes, what are you talking about? I said, either that or I'm gonna call the police because I witnessed what you did and you're gonna go to jail. You're gonna at least be in there for 24 hours. And because it was on I think the weekend was coming up, or it was on I think it was on a Wednesday, but the possibility he could have been there over the weekend. And so he said he'd take the spanky. I said, okay. So I walked around, looked for something to spank him with, and I found a hard oak flooring. And so I got the hard oak flooring, and I can't believe this dog is barking right now. I'm gonna do this interview later.